Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Oh my goodness gracious. The summer has absolutely flown by. And before you know it, it's Thursday, the 1st of September. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. And as always, 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning, Chatbox Productions giving you the Business Breakfast Show. What a treat. I'm really excited, Megan. I'm really excited to be back. What a treat. How are you, my friend?
Very good, very good. It is great to be back. I must say, though, it's like riding a bicycle. You know what you've got to do. But when I got back into the studio, it's like buttons now. Which one do I need to press for this? And it's kind of that learning experience. It's all come flooding back very quickly. But yeah, we've had 4 weeks off because we decided to have an August holiday break, didn't we? Because there was lots of things going on. And we said, look, we've been streaming back to back, week to week for the past 18 months or so. So we're going to take August off. And we did. We had a thoroughly enjoyable time. I'm sure we can share some of our holiday snaps and stories throughout the show. But more importantly, we're back here with business news, great conversation. Wow, what a lineup we've got coming as well for September and October. We're going to talk more about that, what's coming up on the future shows later on in the show. But we're also going to be talking about the energy crisis today because it's hurting so many businesses, and not just here in the UK, but on a global basis as well. So we're going to touch on some of that. We've got so much to talk about. And today's a limited show because we've got no guest joining us. Nick and I are just setting the scene, ready for what's to come in the future weeks and months. So stick with us throughout the show. Remember, if you've got any comments, any feedback, if you want us to do any shout outs, then do pop them into the chats. And we'd love to hear from you. And we'll shout out about your business as well. Tell us who you are, what you do. We're here to support you. And let us know if there's certain challenges in your businesses, or maybe some successes you want to share with us as well, because we love a good success story too.
Here's the question for our lovely audience. How's your summer been? For me, the kind of August is generally fairly quiet from a business perspective. I imagine it is for a lot of businesses. Time to think, time to refuel, time to kind of explore where we go next. As you know, mate, communication continues to evolve. So as a communication specialist, got to keep my finger on the pulse. In fact, got to keep ahead of the curve. So a lot of my summer I've been spent kind of researching what are the issues as far as communication concerned, corporations, what are the issues that are coming down the line that I can help with. So yeah, lovely audience. Just first of all, say hello. How you doing? And let us know how your summer has been. Let us know what you want from us. We've got, as David says, an awesome schedule planned for September and October, but lots of ideas. So we are very, very open to let us know what sort of stuff do you want us to cover? What do you want us to explore? What help do you need with your businesses? And we'll do our utmost to bring in some experts to show us how we can do that a bit more effectively.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what we're going to do is we'll kick off and talk a little bit about what we got up to during the summer. As much as we had some personal time to get away, reflect, family time, etc., we were still working. We were still busy, like most of you. We were having to get out there, meet and greet and stuff like that. But some of you may remember in the past, we had Grant on from Essex Wildlife Trust. Grant was one of our guest speakers. Come on here, talked about a little bit about Essex Wildlife Trust and how they're supporting the community, the environment, sustainability, and all that great stuff. And Nick and I pledged to sign up to Essex Wildlife Trust and become a corporate sponsor, a corporate partner. And we did that. And we had a day out in last month in August when the sun was shining. It was so hot to pick up our award. And here we are. Here is Nick and I looking very chuffed with ourselves, picking up our silver awards from Essex Wildlife Trust. This was handed over to us by Karen and Grant. It was a warm day, wasn't it, Nick? Standing there, you can't see it, but the beads of sweat were rolling down our forehead.
Very warm, mate. Very warm. And trying to get a photo where we weren't squinting because the sun was beaming down was quite a challenge. What? You know, how many times have you gone through a year and think, God, we've not had a summer this year. Finally got the barbecue out. What a summer. It's been too hot, too much of a summer, it seems. Yeah. You know, Nick, never happy. It's either too hot, too cold, but it seems, and I'm sure people will agree, a bit too warm this summer.
Of course, if you were running a business selling ice creams, then I'm sure you were making hay when the sun was shining, or selling ice creams whilst the sun was shining. Our friend James Sinclair, the owner of Rossi Ice Cream, plus many other businesses, I'm sure was sitting there and going like that and counting the pounds as they cropped up due to people buying so much ice cream due to the lovely warm weather. But for some businesses, it's been great. Certainly for the leisure industry, it's fantastic. You know, getting back out there, people getting to the beaches, the seasides, having days out, family adventures. Absolutely brilliant. So it's really helped those businesses. But on the flip side, some of those businesses probably haven't benefited from such hot weather as well. So you can never please everybody, can you? That's the problem. You can't please Nick half the time. And that's the problem with our listeners and viewers. We can't please everyone. We try our best, of course. But what a great summer. You just know what's going to happen now, don't you? We're going to have the coldest, snowiest winter in history. You can just see it. And people will be saying, oh, we had a terrible summer. You can just see that's how the British...
Tell you what, we do not need a very, very harsh winter, mate. You know, it's the environment, which I know is close to our hearts, and the stream aid cause, which we've spoken about in the past. The environment seems to be very much on everybody's mind, because the summer's too hot, and if the floods in Pakistan or anything to go by, you know, it's going more and more bonkers. It's more and more obvious that we are struggling as a planet. We don't need a really severe winter, not with the one of the severe issues that are coming down the road, the energy crisis being on a lot of people's minds. Last thing we need is a severe winter. So are you ready, mate? Are you ready for the rise in the bills? Because let's start with the households. Okay, so I put my direct debit up. My energy provider was saying your direct debit's not going to cover it. Nowhere near, Nick. You need to crank it up. I've had to more than double my direct debit to, in theory, last me through until March. And I imagine they'll be bleating again that I need to increase it even more. But so I've cranked it up 300 quid a month, right? That's not what I expect to pay for my gas and electricity. 300 quid a month. You know, I do a lot of work from home, okay? And all of those people that are loving hybrid working and working from home, you know, back before hybrid working, you'd leave the house at 8 o'clock, wouldn't you? And you wouldn't have
turn everything off, shut the heating down, close all the doors and windows, and try and keep what heat you've got in.
So yeah, from a household point of view, it's going up, but at least there's an energy cap from a household point of view. So direct debit for Nick, up it goes. What about you, mate? You ready?
Well, I'm in an interesting scenario because at the end of this month, i.e. September, my fixed contract comes to an end. So I'm going to jump out of what was a very good deal with the provider, British Gas. British Gas have always been my preferred provider. I've looked at others, I've tried others, but to be fair, and I know others will have different examples and different stories to tell, but they've always been good. I've never had a quibble or a problem, and service has been, for me, fantastic. But coming into this month, I come out of my fixed contract and I'm going to go onto a variable contract. There's no point in trying to fix into something else because it's all over the place and who knows what's going to happen. So I'm going to go into a variable contract. Now, to put that into perspective, and I'm not expecting people to be scientists here and understand the kilowatt hours and all that, but currently I pay less than 20p per kilowatt hour. When I come out of that, that's going to be nearer to 53, 54 pence per kilowatt hour. So in theory, my costs are going to treble. Which is a big jump. Same with gas, obviously that's fixed, that's going to come out. Now the difference is I do pay on direct debit, okay, so I don't need to worry. I pay on monthly invoice. So the invoice comes through and then I pay it typically 14 days later, roughly is when they collect that direct debit. And the reason I've always done that is because I don't want to, and I've seen people get caught out many a times, where they pay a lump sum into a pot, if you like, into their holding account, the client account, and it builds up. So during the summer, you're paying the same amount as that you would during the winter. Now that's great for spreading the costs and knowing what it's going to cost you on a monthly basis. But people end up with like £1,200, £1,500 in credit during the summer months, building it up ready for the winter. Well, half of these energy companies have gone bust. And your money, in theory, is protected, but you try and argue that along with another 4,000 clients, customers that are phoning up to get their money back. So I've never, no disrespect energy companies, but I've never trusted you. But I wouldn't trust anyone else with my money. I would love to be able to charge in my business, give me all your money this month and next month, and then tell you what, in 6 months' time, I'll spend it for you. That doesn't work in anywhere else, does it? But it works in the energy world. And to me, it doesn't sit right. Don't like it. I'll pay for what I use. Give me 14 days because that's your process time. And then you can have the money. That's cool. But I know it doesn't work for everybody, because what's going to happen for me at the moment, typically my gas and electric bill, is costing me less than £200 a month. Bear in mind, I'm charging cars and stuff like that. Come the winter, with the increase, I'm going to be seeing £500-600 a month easily. So am I prepared? Hopefully.
And this is us households, right? Our energy, the cost is capped, right? Now let's say you run a business, as we do, and that business is needs a lot of power. Okay, your energy as a business is not capped. All right, there is no cap on business energy rates. So I have no idea, if you run a business and you use a lot of fuel, a lot of gas, a lot of electricity, what you're going to do.
There's lots of stories. I'm going to put one on the screen actually that I picked out off of LinkedIn earlier this week. And the scenarios are happening at these small retailers. Okay, it's not only retailers. I appreciate if you're into manufacturing, you've got warehousing, if you've got offices, it's the same. But we're just taking retailers that have to have kind of the doors open, lights on, probably the heating running to keep it at a nice ambient temperature in there. Doors are open and closing all the time as people, in theory, come and go. And of course, retail we know has been heavily affected anyway. But I'm going to pop this up on the screen here. And this is a true LinkedIn post. Oh, no, not that one. Here we go. This one here, true LinkedIn post that I saw on there. I don't know Callum. I will have to connect with him, maybe, have a chat with him. Maybe we'll ask him to come on the show. Maybe we'll get his mum on. But my mum owns a small cafe in Leicester. Her electricity bill has jumped from £10,000 a year to £55,000. And she is running a cafe. And I'm sure it's a lovely cafe serving. Well, the cakes look gorgeous. Lovely cakes, awesome coffee. But there's a cap on, £55,000 just to. That's not even to keep the doors open, because that's without all the other overheads and costs that come along with it. Now, most cafes, and again, depending on how busy they are, but that's such a huge proportion of their overheads. Their profit is just going to be sucked up. So she's working on her options, but more than likely she will have to close the doors. And that is such a sad affair. And I can tell you now, she's not the only one in that scenario. This is going to be
55 grand. So you can budget for 10, right? That's quite.
Even 10's a lot, isn't it? You're talking let's just say an average of £1,000 a month. I know it's not quite that, but let's just say for a little bit extra during the winter, £1,000 a month. That's even still quite a lot of money.
Bearing in mind everything else is going up as well. Yeah. So you're running your small business.
Food's going up. Yeah.
You can just about make it work at 10 grand a year gas and electricity, but 55 a year, where are you going to find an extra 45 grand's worth of profit to just give to the energy companies? If that's a scenario in a small cafe in Leicester, there must be small cafes all over the country, big cafes all over the country, chip shops, pubs. Every retail outlet has got a heat deployment in place. That must be happening up and down the country. The new Prime Minister can't come in and sort it out quick enough. I'm a little bit cynical, to be fair, that they will sort it out. But that's absolute bonkers, mate. How do you run a business like that? How on earth do you plan for that? You can't.
I don't think you can. I think it's going to be very challenging for these businesses, and then we're just talking energy, as you rightly said, Nick. That's not the only cost that have increased. Inflation is going up and up and up. If you've got loans, interest rates are on the increase. So people are going to get pinched for the money they repay on borrowing as well. So all of this is going to impact the overall business. And do you know what? It's tough in business. And if anyone says business is an easy thing, I will confront you time and time again, because business is tough. whether you're a small to medium-sized enterprise or a micro business just working from home, or you're a large corporation, business is tough. It has great days, lots of fantastic days, but there's also just as many challenging days. And I just think it's going to get to a point people are thinking, almost as that post, why am I bothering? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting the stress? As much as I have lots of good times come from it and lots of fun and enjoyment, I don't know if it's worth it. And this is where I think people are going to get to, and they're just going to go, do you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't make ends meet. It's costing me to keep the doors open. People are not spending the money, because that's the other thing, because everybody has had the cost of living crisis. So they're not going out and spending on luxury items. And, coffees and cakes could be classed as a bit of a luxury at times. If you haven't got the extra pounds or pennies, then you're not going to be able to, indulge in some of the luxuries of life.
Everything's a luxury now, mate. Right? I went into my local Asda.
Well, electricity's a luxury.
Heinz baked beans. Okay, they're £1.20 a tin. Right? It wasn't that long ago. They're about 50p a tin. £1.20 a tin. Right? So if that's the state of my baked beans, what on earth? What on earth does everything else look like? Absolutely,
it's challenging. Very, very challenging. And let's just be also very clear here. This is not affecting.
It's an upbeat start to the new shows, isn't it? Welcome back, everybody. Enjoyed the summer?
Well, yeah, sadly, but let's be realistic. This is happening, and it's happening now, and we've got to be prepared as best as we can. We've got to look after each other. We've got to support businesses, whether it's local businesses. Now, all businesses need help and support. The government are going to have to step in. I'm confident of that. They're going to have to do something to support our businesses. And of course, the rest of the population in the country will need some sort of help and support. Look, some will ride this. They've got plenty of money stored away. They're like squirrels. They've nurtured all their nuts and kept them there. They're going to be all right. But let's be honest, this is affecting more people probably than it's not going to hurt. So this is a big, big challenge. Even companies like Brewdog. Okay, I read yesterday, Brewdog, who were opening up pubs left, right, and centre, and very successful brewing business. They announced yesterday, I think they're shutting 6 of their pubs. Green King, which I think have 2,000 plus pubs across the east and southeast East Anglia area, but they do go further afield. They've got lots of their publicans coming back to them and saying, we're going to have to close the doors. There's no way we can survive. We can't keep the doors open and cover the electric. You can't put a price on a pint. I read somewhere a pint to cover all these increased costs of living, the electricity, the gas, all the costs of manufacturing. They'd have to charge £15 a pint. That would have to be the price of a pint. Now, I'm going to take that on face value because that's what someone else reported. I've not done my own calculations. 15 quid? Are you going to go down your local Nick and spend £15 on a pint and £5 on a bag of pork scratchings?
No, well, I might save some money there on the pork scratchings, but no, mate, no. And your pint's too expensive already. All right, if you go into most pubs, right, what you don't see is youngsters. All right, let's say 18 to 25-year-olds don't tend to drink in pubs as much as they I guess back in our day, because can't afford it. Simply can't afford it. So what is, lovely audience, what is your business going to do about this? We've had a pretty torrid last couple of years, and we've spoken at length about it and how people have got through that. But what this is another blooming crisis that you look at your business and think, well, how am I going to manage this particular storm? And I know it's a global issue. I know there's all sorts of reasons for it. But yeah, I don't know, without some serious help, the likes of the cafe in Leicester and others, a real issue. And you know what? You can't even rely on. You can't even say to your people, say, look, right, we need you to dig deep, work longer hours for the same pay, because the whole kind of working from home, the whole kind of shift in mindset around work, kind of people's attitude to working for an organization and doing more than's expected, that's shifting as well. I came across this article on the BBC all about quiet quitting. Have you heard about quiet quitting?
No, I haven't. Tell me more.
It came from it came from someone posted something on TikTok, I think, and it went viral. Okay, so what quiet quitting is a load of workers just doing exactly what their job description says, working just the hours they're expected to work, just getting the work done, not going over and beyond. Quite difficult from a run your own business point of view, because you kind of do everything you can. But if you've got employees, and in the past they've done more than you've paid them for, there's a shift coming. It looks like this trend is carrying on. People are saying, I've been doing all this work, can I have a pay rise? The answer's been no. And they said, right, in that case, I'll do just what you pay me for. Mm-hmm. Exactly what my job description says and no more.
Very, very interesting. So do you have any quiet quitters within your ranks? Are there people that work for you? Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you are quietly quitting. You're just doing what's expected of you and not going above and beyond, because maybe you're looking at the next opportunity. I've always said, going back, and I think we've spoken about this on previous shows, our previous generation, they used to have a career. They used to leave school, finish college, university, whatever it was, if they even did that, actually. And then they went and got a job at, let's just take Ford's, for example, and then they worked their whole life there. They did their 50-year stint there and then retired. And that was a real career. You kind of worked your way up the ladder and, various different positions. But now I don't think there's such a thing as a career in most cases, because I think a lot of school leavers, so well done if you've just done your GCSEs and A-levels, and good luck the rest of your journey. We'll talk about that, because I think it's very unfair what they did, but that's another story. And I think those who go on to university and college, or college and university, and then go on to a job, I think the opportunity there is that they might stay there for a year or two, maybe go up the ranks slightly, but I think they then go off and jump into another role somewhere else, another business, another organization. And I think that's the world we live in now. There is no such thing as a long-term career, because I don't know the stats exactly, but I know a lot of people will move around roles now and change organizations. And it's not about following the money. That helps. They're following the opportunity. They're looking for what they can learn, the things that they can do, gain more experience and knowledge and practical, hands-on stuff as well. So really interesting. I don't think a career exists anymore as such. I'm sure some people will go through that whole start a Ford, be there for 50 years and retire a gold watch and pen. I do think a lot of people now are having this opportunity. And I think it's great, because it gives you choice to explore the world and try different things.
There are a lot of businesses out there struggling with to find people and to retain them. Retention is becoming a bit of a nightmare. I've spoken to a lot of businesses, just can't get people. They can't get the right kind of people. It seems really odd, isn't it? That wasn't that long ago that if you were looking for work, you'd really struggle to find a job. And now there seems to be opportunities absolutely everywhere. That might shift, after a harsh winter. But a lot of organizations really struggling to get hold of the right kind of people. If let us know, is your business struggling to get people and retain them? Because I think you're right, mate. I think people will move from opportunity to opportunity, learning experience to learning experience. On the one hand, really good. But then on the other hand, if you spend most of your life recruiting and then losing people, that's a real challenge.
But then why not? If there's opportunity out there, follow the dream. Look what you want to do. Just because you're starting something today, that doesn't mean that's where you're going to be. For some, they will start, off on the ladder of working for somebody else, and then realize that actually I can do this better. I can earn more money. I can have more flexibility in time. I'm going to go self-employed, or I'm going to set up a company and work for myself. And then they realize that actually it wasn't quite what they imagined. But as I said earlier, it has its good times as well as its bad times. Of course, and then running your own business comes along with its own set of challenges as well. So really interesting. We'd love to hear from what you guys are experiencing. Is it business as usual in your organization? Has nothing changed? Has the cost of living not affected you? Energy prices on the increase not made a difference? Cost of inflation, interest rates. Previously we were talking about the pandemic on here for pretty much 2 years, and how it was affecting businesses. Is this a kind of in itself a pandemic that is affecting not just businesses here in the UK, but again, I was reading Germany. The factories are closing down in Germany because they can't afford to keep the doors open. They can't afford the energy to run the factories. So what's going to happen there? Are we going to see similar issues here as well? Love to know what's happening out there on the ground. We'd love to invite you on the show and have that conversation with you. But while we're on what's coming for September, lots of great guests coming on to join us. I say today, you got the pleasure of Nick and I, but next week we're back Thursday from 8 o'clock. Remember, we're here every Thursday from 8 o'clock, and will be now probably until next summer break, next August. But we're kicking off next week with relationships that have changed the world. So really interesting. Our guest that's coming on is going to be talking all about this and about how their relationships have, in their mind, changed the world. But I'm sure we can all pick up on our own stories about people we've met, done business with, maybe not just in business, maybe personally, and how it's changed us or changed our viewpoints or changed our position or our thoughts. So really interesting show. That's next Thursday, the 8th. What we got coming up after that, Nick?
Right. After that, we've got neurodiversity. Spoken a bit about this in the past, but it's going to be a fascinating show, speaking to some experts who are running businesses in that neurodiversity space. If you don't know what neurodiversity is, then September the 15th is the time to tune in and hear from those people in that space, those people benefiting from that space. I'm a big believer in diversity generally. The more kind of the way people think, the more different minds you've got access to, the better it is for you and your business. Neurodiversity is definitely going to teach us a lot about how to tap in to a different way of thinking.
Yeah, I'm really interested. I'm looking forward to that because Utkarsh, who's our guest on that particular day, Nick and I are hosting a Neurodiversity Conference on Monday, the 3rd of October in Cambridge on behalf of Utkarsh and their guest speakers. So Chatbox is live on the road. We're there. We're hosting. We'll be introducing all our great guests and speakers on that day. We'll talk more about that when Utkarsh comes on to the show, because I know if you wanted to come along and if you've got an interest in neurodiversity or learning more about it, we can share more about how you can get a seat at that conference called Neuro Together. But really, really exciting.
Brilliant. And then after that, mate, the following Thursday on the 22nd of September, we're packing it all in. We're talking about social enterprise. Massive subject. I've heard people talking about it quite a lot over the summer. Social enterprise, if that's your thing, Thursday the 22nd of September is the place to be. A couple of fabulous guests are going to kind of tour us through social enterprise. What on earth is it? How do we get involved, and where's the value?
Yeah, absolutely. Because some will say, well, I don't get it. Why run a social enterprise? Why, not make a profit? Well, you make a surplus and of course you pour that back in. But, there's a lot more to it. And what I actually noticed with social enterprises, not all, but it's quite often people that have run their organizations and their businesses and done, reasonably well for themselves, but then create these social enterprises about putting something back, helping others. And we're going to find out more. Would that work for you? Would your business work better as a social enterprise? What would it attract? There's so much to it. It's an area that I have a very little understanding in. I have an idea. So I'm really excited to learn more about that and what social enterprise means to us business owners and why we should be thinking about it and possibly adopting it as well.
Every day's a school day, right?
Every day's a school day.
As you've said many times in the past, loads to learn. And to round off the month on the 29th of September, we're talking about business support. Hopefully by that point, the government are starting to support businesses in their own way, even more so if they're supporting them at the moment. But yeah, business support. What support is out there? What should you be looking for? What are you doing that actually someone else can do that much better, much easier? Are you spending time on stuff that isn't really your kind of genius space, where actually there's not far away, there's support that could take that off your hands?
Yeah, outsourcing is, in some cases, not always, but the way forward. To outsource it to someone that's an expert in that field, can do it better, quicker, more efficiently than you can. And then you can use your time more wisely to do what you do extremely well. So great lineup, great September. That's what's that, 2, 4, that's, what we got, 2, 4, 6, 8, probably around about 10 guests joining us throughout the month in September, sharing their stories, their knowledge, their skills, their understanding. So what's not to be enjoyed by listening to others and learning from them? And of course, we're always going to ask them for their top business tips as well. That's we're still formulating into our business book Bible that we will be pulling together and hopefully getting into the marketplace very, very soon. Well, we're just making a start on collating all that together. Exciting times on that. And one last thing I will mention, Nick, I know we've only just touched on this, but I want to sow the seed because we'd love your feedback on this. Nick and I have kind of debated, deliberated, and we're looking at doing a live audience show. Now, live being, yes, we're live here today and you're watching from the comfort of your own home, but we have decided that, you know what, let's bring together some of the best minds in the business, whether you're a micro business, a large corporate, and invite you to be in the room with Nick and I at a very famous football stadium where you can join in, and it'll be live and unscripted, and we'll be hearing from guests live on the stage, lots of interaction, Q&A, all going to be done over a light breakfast in the spirit of having some fun and learning something new. So watch out for that. Date yet to be confirmed, but it's going to happen later this year, certainly before the December winter month kicks in. We're hoping maybe kind of early November time, and we will share more about that once we have everything confirmed, lined up and ready. And we'd love you to come along and be in the audience live.
Very excited about that. Maybe we can get book the venue, turn the heating on, and the crowds will come.
Yeah, it's their heating. We're come along. If you're cold, we'll turn the heating up that morning for you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. The Chatbox experience, but live in the room with masses of people involved. Going to be awesome. And that's not the only event to look forward to, is it, mate? You're doing another one of these enormous FSB get-togethers. Is that right?
Yeah, looking forward to this. So this is the third in the series. Myself and Pauline Weddell, on behalf of the Federation of Small Businesses. For those that don't know, but the FSB is one of the oldest, but not the oldest. One of the oldest, but the most supported business network in the UK. Over 150,000 plus members, from micro businesses up to SME size. And we're running another virtual networking event. Here it is. It's on Friday, the 16th of September, 10 a.m. to 11:30. It's virtual. So all you need is a computer and a screen with a camera and a microphone, and you can join us. Really exciting. Myself and Pauline have done, 2 of these previously. Normally we get well over, we've got 1,000 going to be registered for the event. We tend to see about 600 to 700 turn up on the day. So a huge networking event. But some of you might see from here, we've got Harpreet Kaur there, who is the BBC Apprentice 22 winner. She's coming on to talk about her journey and talk about The Apprentice. And also we've got Abdul Seal, who is the FSB Young Enterprise of the Year winner. So really exciting. There are 2 guest speakers there. If you're interested in that, I'm going to pop into the chat now. The details, but do sign up. You can go to fsb.org.uk and all the information is there, but I'm going to pop into the chat how you can sign up and get your virtual ticket for free, regardless if you're a member or not. It's open to all businesses. That's
it's a lot of fun, bonkers event. I've been to the first 2, mate, in the series. You do very, very well, as expected. You and Pauline, a great double act. Not quite the Ant and Dec of Business Breakfast, but not bad. Not bad.
And Pauline's been a guest here on the show in the past as well.
She has.
Yeah, she's joined us in the studio.
So one of the issues around business, which hopefully that networking event solves, is where's your new business coming from? Right? Where's your relationships coming from? Hopefully over the summer you've maintained those relationships. You know where you're going to find new business. It looks like if it's going to be a harsh winter, we need a lot more clients on the books. Everybody does. Why don't we get together and help each other find where that new business is coming from?
Look at that. That's the long URL there. Look, fsb.org.uk/event. I'll leave it there for a second for those that want to maybe screenshot or take it down. I have put it into the chats. But if you go to that, probably the easiest way, just go to fsb.org.uk/events or event calendar, and then it all comes up and you can register from there. But I'll leave that there just for another 30 seconds so you can screenshot that and take it away.
That's very catchy. Everyone's going to remember that. It's very catchy.
I know, it's great, isn't it? If you can get all the dashes and the dots in the right place, you're probably in for a winner. But yeah, do come and join me. It'd be great to have you there. So we've got. I know at the last count there was over 800 already registered. It caps out at 1,000. That is the maximum that can register. And we do see a large proportion of those come along and join us on the day as well. There we go. Brilliant. What a lineup. So we've got an exciting September coming. We're back live and unscripted going forwards as well. So do join us. And we've got some other things penciled in. We've got some specials coming up as well. We've got a number of interviews that we're doing outside of the breakfast show that you will see appearing in your feeds that you can jump on and watch us as we speak to other fantastic special guests and find out more about their businesses. And we are talking about returning. We've been talking with Threatening. We have been out there returning to the road as well, as we mentioned with the not so long set off in the future. Our get together, live and unscripted breakfast. I don't know if we're going to call it a conference, a network meeting. I don't quite know. We have to work on the details. But
so that's coming. If you run a business and you want us to come and do the show live from your business premises, all right, put the heating on. David and I will come along and run the Chatbox Business Breakfast Show from your location. How cool would that be? Get you stuck into the show, get your people in the show, and make it a right old kind of party breakfast Chatbox style.
Yeah, absolutely. Get some of your staff talking about who they are, what they do, big selfie pictures. How fun will that be?
Yeah, all the quiet quitters, we'll have a word with them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Nick, finally, you were here.
Absolutely right. On the back of our silver membership of Essex Wildlife, out we went to Abberton Reservoir. Another beautiful day. What a fantastic venue that is. Go along, everybody, to Abberton Reservoir. If the sun's shining, if it's not shining, saw some stuff, mate, that I'd never seen before. Brilliant day.
And of course, if you're watching this from somewhere else around the world, you can't get to Abberton Reservoir, which I kind of get. Go out into nature. Go and just explore some of the, the great scenery, the great open space around you. Because everywhere has a little bit of that. I appreciate sometimes you might have to jump on a train, a bus, or go for a long walk. But everywhere has that space that you can just get out into, relax and chill out and think about what comes next in your journey. Use nature.
It is a challenge. Go out into nature, take a picture, right, of where what space you're using as your thinking space. Send it to us. We'll put it on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go, Nick. We were going to do a half-hour show this morning. We said we're a couple of minutes over. I think what we're going to do is we'll leave it there because we want to just whet the appetite of our listeners and viewers, ready for really getting back into the saddle, into the seat next week. So do join us next Thursday morning from 8 o'clock here live in the virtual studio where our first show kicks off with relationships that have changed the world. Looking forward to that. Until then, Nick, it's bye-bye from me.
And cheerio from me.
See you soon.